Welcome back to season 5 of Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand.
And I'm Dom Jones. We have some amazing conversations lined up from people doing the work. I'm excited for those and the change that it'll hopefully spark.
I can't wait to jump in. So let's get started. Welcome back to Time to Change. Oh, I got my buddy in the house today. And I have to tell you, if you see above my left shoulder, this QR code, you should scan that because I'm gonna introduce you top down culture, my friends. Top down culture. And Lyndsay Dowd is in the house, the Chief Heartbeat Officer. Give it up. Woo! And I'm going to read this one little passage. This is all you get. You got to buy the book yourself. And so the QR code is going to take you to her website, but you can also go to Amazon. I did it through her website, but you can go to Amazon. It's okay.
Either works.
But I want to read this part because this really, it's fantastic. The whole book's fantastic, but I like this part. A new day has dawned on the world of work. Employers and employees alike have awakened to new and sometimes harsh realities, especially when it comes to work-life balance. People are no longer willing to sweat blood in exchange for a paycheck. Culture can be defined as the characteristic features of everyday existence, such as diversions or a way of life, shared by people in a place or time. You have the opportunity to affect the everyday existence of so many people, and it's your responsibility to help create this culture, inspire your people, and give them the reason, opportunity, and space to thrive. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, take my shoe off. Take my shoe off. Throw it at the screen.
That was good.
Thanks, man. Thank you. That was
and that's
awesome.
A snippet. You got to buy the book yourself. Oh my goodness.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit jealous that I didn't have a book to hold up.
Oh, we got to fix that.
I'm going to fix that. Don't even worry about it. I'm going to make sure I fix that.
Excellent. Thank you. I love that you shared that, Chasen. And, I have a little saying that I always say, and you hear me say this a lot, is don't be the star of somebody's bad memory. Be the leader you always wish you had. And I think what people forget in leadership roles, because this isn't taught, but the thing that people forget is you are being watched. Your words are being listened to. And if you behave like a buffoon, everyone's going to think that is the culture that you are okay with. And you have to model the culture you want to live in. And if you are going to be an ogre, that is exactly what your environment is going to think you're asking for. If you are lifting others up, if you are delegating as we do with our power skills, you are going to give people an opportunity to shine and they will follow suit. So yeah, the book is chock full of stories and examples of how to do these things. Because I think the way I teach is through stories. And that's, I think, the way a lot of people like to learn. But yeah, we have room for improvement. So we got to do it.
I love, first, I've got a little bit of goosies with this topic in particular. It's one that I am super passionate about. Mm-hmm. And clearly it's something that you care deeply. You could just sense that in the words that you shared. I'm curious if you can put into words for us, Lyndsay, this is a newer book. Why did you feel like this was the right time for us to dive into that type of conversation in the workplace?
Yeah, I mean, it was a result of my journey. And, I spent 23 years climbing the ranks of IBM and 25 years in corporate America. And after my long run at IBM, I was ready for a change. I was sought out by another company. They said, come on over, run a sales team for us. And I did. And 6 months later, they fired me. And I was gutted. I was devastated. I was so beside myself. And I took it really personally, because anybody that says it's not personal, it's only business, okay, that's crap.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Absolutely.
It's very personal. It is your blood, sweat, and tears. It is your livelihood. It is your pride. So yeah, I was sideways. And for about a month, I couldn't talk about it. And then I asked myself 3 questions. What am I good at? What do I love to do? And how can I help people the most? And I knew how to build modern leaders, and I knew how to create irresistible culture that drives results. And I had enough experience with great leaders and with lousy ones. And I said, we need more great leaders. There's not enough conversation around this right now. And I never thought I was going to write a book. It wasn't in the plans. But I talk a lot, and that I have that going for me. And I'm a storyteller, and I had that going for me. So I used those things, and I said, there's something here. I've got to create a piece of work that isn't just entertaining, but it really kind of teaches you the simple fundamentals of being a human, heart-centered leader. And that's what people want. People want to be inspired. They want to be seen. They want to be, heard and supported. And I've witnessed what that feels like. I've certainly done it myself. And more of that, please.
That's fantastic.
Love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you find is that as you're teaching people, because now you're doing a ton of speaking, you're being asked to go on a lot of high-end shows and do a lot of different work. What do you find is the biggest challenge? What's the pushback that you experience?
I think vulnerability is a hard thing for a lot of people. And the way I describe vulnerability is it's a spectrum. And I'm not asking you to go stand naked at a company picnic. I'm asking you
Thank God.
to share a little bit about your life with people. And that could be something really simple, like Dom was just talking about taking his kid to the supermarket and, the lesson he was learning there. He didn't get like scary vulnerable where he was sharing like some thing that he's not good at. He was making himself relatable and making himself human. And that's a piece that I think people don't understand. They're hearing these words, authenticity and vulnerability, and they're not really sure what that means because all of the examples before them have been fear-based and tyrannical and, I'm going to embarrass people or belittle people, or they haven't had those leaders that say things like, yeah, you're going to fail, but I'm here for you. I got your back. And when you say that, it changes everything. You have time for a little story?
Yeah. Still.
Jason, you might have heard the story before, but so I was a client exec managing a really big account, and we're talking like at $150 million quota with this client, one client. And we were each other's customers, we were each other's business partners, and we were competitors. So talk about strings attached to everything we did. And we had a team of 55 people. So I was the quarterback. And I was presenting my plan to my boss. And about 2/3 of the way through my plan, she stops me and she says, "Girl, I've got your back. Now fly." And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If I screw up, she's got me. Okay, let's do this. So I turn around to my team and I'm like, what haven't we tried? What haven't we done? Who haven't we talked to? Let's go crush this. And we in turn closed the largest deal our two clients had ever seen. It was over $23 million. We changed the relationship of how we worked. We all made tons of money, but it all stemmed from that one leader having faith in me. And when you can demonstrate that to someone, the ripple effect is huge. And this is the stuff that people don't teach. And this is the stuff that takes good leaders and makes them great. So I have so many more stories, but that's just an example.
Yeah, I love that. If I can answer a quick follow-up to that.
Of course.
Similar to what Chasen was mentioning earlier, there can be a ton of pushback or obstacles to embracing some of the things that you're sharing. One of them that I found is that this stuff that you're talking about, it's the softer side of business. It's being a good people, being a good person, but then there's the business stuff we've got.
Oh, sure. Oh, let's get to that.
Yeah. In other words, it's disconnected. But with your background, especially in sales, can you speak a little bit to those who are viewing this stuff as a softer side? How does all of this translate into business results?
I'm
Great
so
questions.
glad you brought this up. Great question. So first of all, it was really important to me as I was building my brand that I did not want to be associated with hearts and flowers. I mean, granted, heartbeat for heart, there's heart in my name of my company, a chief heartbeat officer, it's there. So it's there. But I really did not, because I came from sales, I came from a world that is very tough, high pressure. But I also understood good performance comes from people who are inspired. And when you can teach leaders how to do that, your people perform. So when you can create trust, when you can build psychological safety, when you can say things like, I've got your back, now fly, when you can give people the space to do the jobs they were hired for, that is where the magic happens. That's where the creativity, the innovation, the communication, the collaboration all stems from. So yeah, you can think it's all hearts and flowers, but here's the reality. I was leading big organizations. I had to lay people off. I had to fire people. I had to do things I never wanted to do. And when I had to lay people off, oh, I hated it. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was so stressed and I swore I would never get good at it. And I never did. But when I had to deliver those messages, my style has been consistent through my career as a leader. I will never forget multiple times having to lay people off. And they would say, I'm so sorry you had to do this. What? Wow. Are you kidding me? I'm changing your life in a negative way. And you feel bad for me. And you want to know why they said that? Because I always showed up with heart. And I always wanted my people to feel seen. Most of them knew it was coming. They could sense it. When you are consistent and you lead with heart, it makes those tough conversations much easier. You're going to have to give negative feedback. You're going to have, like, people would give a presentation and there'd be mistakes. And I'd say to them, okay, we have to chat. I want to tell you all the good and all the bad. Can we have that conversation? Yeah. I want to get better. Yeah. When you have it that way, you're promoting excellence. You're saying we're going to learn from our mistakes. Yeah, I made mistakes too when I first started presenting, but this is how we learn. This is how we grow. And if people feel safe, okay, so the first thing you're going to do as a new leader is go on a listening tour. And that listening tour means you are going to your team and you are going to say, okay, you've been here longer than I have. Tell me what's working, what's not working. If you could change something, what would that be? If there's something that the last leader did that you really loved, tell me. I don't know. So when you come from that position versus there's a new sheriff in town, it's my way or the highway. And I've had both of those styles. It is so refreshing because you are making yourself accessible. You're making yourself relatable. You're showing you want to listen, you want to learn, and you don't know everything. And guess what? Nobody does. I don't care what job you're in. And if you think you know everything, you are deeply overqualified. But you want to really listen. You want to take the time to build trust. And the other thing you need to start implementing, you have to have one-on-ones. And these are outside of your forecast calls. This is time for you to learn, develop, and ask one very important question, which is, how can I be the best leader for you? Many times people won't immediately have an answer to that, but some people will tell you, stay the hell out of my way and be an escalation point. Some people will say, I need more role playing. I don't think I'm doing this right and I want to learn. Some people will say, I think I need a mentor or a coach. Can you help me with that? Or I want more training, or I'd like an opportunity to shine. I'm really good at this. Do you have any work that I could take on that shows that? When you can start to understand who your people are and what they need, you can advocate for them. You can serve up the things and delegate, which is a power skill. Delegate things that are going to make them shine. And if they screw up, you are taking the blame, not them.
Well, we have been on Time to Change with Lyndsay Dowd, the Chief Heartbeat Officer. Connect with her, get that book, scan that QR code. Dom and I on Time to Change. Thank you so much for joining us at HR for You Incorporated. We'll catch you next time.